I love to use ribbon and twine on my projects, and I know many of you do as well, but sometimes I get tired of making bows. In this video, I want to share quite a few different ways for how to use twine in particular. I love twine. I use it a lot, probably more than ribbon, but I want to show a lot of different ways for using twine. I'm Anna Helman. Thanks for being here. Let's take a look. I have several different cards that I will share here that I've made for recent tutorials and show you different ways to use twine on them. Here is one I made for a recent tutorial with blending and stamping so that you don't really see the stamped image. You just see the coloring that you do with your markers. And a stamp set called Softly Sketch, what I thought was beautiful, but just an example of using a nice little twine bow to add a finishing touch to a project. And I do this a lot. Now, the reason I love twine for a few reasons. One, it's, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to tie a nice looking twine bow than it is ribbon. It also doesn't add a big lump when you're mailing it that could possibly cause damage in the mail. So there's a lot to like about twine. Those are a couple of reasons. Let's look at another one. This one was actually for that same tutorial. And I'll link in the video description below if you want to see any of these tutorials and check them out. You can find those links. Here's another one I created for that same tutorial. And for this one, I created a messy thread look in the background. This was another tutorial I made recently, chalkboard inspired cards. And I like to do this a lot where I put a little bit of adhesive on my project. I wrap it back and forth, wrap that twine back and forth. I press it into that adhesive each time I go by, and then I can put something on top to hide where I've attached it to my card. So these are two of my favorite, probably two of the most common ways to use twine, but let's look at some more. These next two cards I made for a recent tutorial showing how when you have one stamp and you're not quite sure how to use one stamp to make an entire card design, how you can turn that into a full card. I made these with an adorable stamp set called Everyday Thanks. And on this one, in that video, I showed how I created this thread technique. Before I attached this popped up Band-Aid, I put a strip of adhesive along here and I just wrapped my twine back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and made sure it was attached well before I popped up that extra Band-Aid on top. So that's a fun technique I like to do fairly often. Here's another one I've been doing more lately where you put your adhesive down and then you have an end hanging out here, wrap a loop, put another end, and you could add some more loops in there if you want to, but leave this hanging out from the end of a tag or from underneath one of your layers like is shown right here. Now these next three cards are brand new. You have not seen them before. And I just created them for this to show some more ways to use twine. And I'm having fun with a new stamp set that I love called Just My Type. So this is what I've used on here along with some pretty papers called Masterfully Made. So let's look at this one. Here's another idea for what to do, and it is to create a knot. Now for this one, I used 4 different pieces of twine and I knotted them together, but if you just want to create a knot with 1 piece or 2 pieces or 3, you can do that as well. So I thought that was really cute, just kind of a fun little extra embellishment that's different than a bow that you can add on. For this one, of course, you can always wrap your twine or your ribbon all the way around a piece on your project. So maybe it's the background of your card. You can actually wrap it all the way around the entire card. If you do it this direction, you could just wrap it around a layer piece. So you could wrap it around like this layer right here if you wanted to. And then after you do that, you can tie a knot, you can tie a bow like I did, or if you don't want to do either one of those, you can hide it behind an element of your card. So I could have put the knot back behind here and just cut the ends off and hid it completely. Here is one more that I really like to do, and this is one of my favorites as well, is to tie a double bow. So I just put 2 pieces of those twine together, I tie my bow like normal, and then I attach it with a glue dot is the way I like to attach my bows and these things to projects because I don't have to wait for the glue to dry. So thought this was fun. I really like this idea for using this is one big hello stamp. but I thought it would be fun to ink just the H and then the HE and continue on until I had the entire word written out because, you know, the little cute typewriter in the set. But then I didn't really like this part right here. I thought, you know what, I'm going to cover that up with a bow. If you get a smudge mark or anything, fingerprint, all those things you want to cover up, bows are perfect to hide that, and these other methods of using twine as well. So thanks so much for watching along. Like I said, if you want links to any of these other tutorials, I'll have them in the video description below, along with links to all of the products I've used. If you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.